Hey guys, what's going on? Jerome here. This is my Nexus 6P odds and ends video 3 weeks later. I'm calling it an odds and ends video because I want to tie up any loose ends that I haven't covered in my past Nexus 6P videos. I'm going to do this video a little differently. I'm actually going to take Q&A from the comments in my past Nexus 6P videos and answer what I can. First question I have is from Rowie Joseph. This question is related to image stabilization for video on the Nexus 6P. Rowie Joseph wrote, just a quick note, you do have an EIS option to enable in settings for 1080p video. Rowie, here's a small clip that I took with my Nexus 6P, and to do a comparison, I had my Moto X Pure Edition right next to it. I don't have it right now because it's actually filming this video, but what I did is I took both phones, I kind of put them side by side, and I walked at like a reasonable pace. I had 1080p video film it, and you know what, just take a look and see what you think. I just want to note in that video that image stabilization was enabled on the Nexus 6P, and even in that clip you could tell that the Nexus 6P had a lot more shakiness in its video compared to the Moto X Pure Edition. Now I know both phones have, both phones don't have OIS, optical image stabilization, but if I remember correctly, both phones actually have EIS, which is electronic image stabilization for video. I'm wondering if the shakiness of the video in the Nexus 6P can be corrected in a software update, but I guess we'll wait and see if anything gets released for that. But for now, if I'm going to do any kind of video recording where I'm going to be moving the camera or the camera phone a lot more, I'll probably stick with my Moto X Pure Edition for video recording in that instance. Carlos wrote, I was about to buy the 6P and then I saw that bend test on YouTube. Is that something I should be concerned about? It seems like the 6P split in half easily. Does it feel durable? My quick answer is no. It's not something you should be concerned about, and yes, it does feel durable. That's my quick answer, but let me go in depth. Carlos, I saw the bend test on YouTube that you're talking about. Actually, I think he bent 2 Nexus 6P phones just to make sure that it wasn't a fluke the first time. And yeah, that video was crazy. As a Nexus owner or any kind of owner of a phone, you know, if that, you don't want to see your phone not survive a drop, not survive a dunk in water, or not survive getting bent or broken in half. Nobody wants to see that when you own that phone. But you have to remember that these are extreme conditions where they're bending and breaking the phone in half. It doesn't take away from those videos, because obviously the 6P is going to bend if you force its hand. I mean, it'll bend, it'll break in half. And if anything, it's good that there are people on YouTube who are actually making these videos, because I think putting that to light will show manufacturers where their faults lay so that they can correct that kind of stuff in the future. But if you're like me, you keep your phone in your front pocket, not your back pocket, and sit down. You keep your phone on a table and not the floor so that it doesn't get stepped on. And, well, not like me, but people still put a case on their phone to give it a little more protection from any kind of drops or, I guess, bends, if that might be the case. Again, should it stop you from getting a 6P? No, like absolutely not. Don't let that deter you from getting a 6P. You know, unless you live or work in conditions where it's really rough and your phone is going to get some abuse and you can't get a proper case for that, you know, for your 6P, then yeah, maybe I would say look into something else. But again, those are extreme conditions. But for most people who don't live in those conditions or who don't experience those everyday conditions, that shouldn't deter you, again, from getting a 6P. I mean, my 6P is my daily driver. It's my primary. And in my job, I occasionally am working in rougher conditions, and I don't even have a case. So hopefully that has some weight or has some bearing to how durable or rugged the phone is. Like, the phone is still, I'm sure, as fragile as a lot of other phones are, but if you're careful enough and, you know, you're just not leaving it around anywhere, I think you should be fine. You shouldn't worry about bending or breaking your phone in that kind of way. Danja wrote, how is the headphone jack sound quality? I would like you to please make a comparison while listening to the same songs with different phones. Danja, so what I did is I plugged in, I had two different sets of earphones and a set of headphones. And I tried all three, and I tried like three different songs, and pretty much my conclusion, and the only phones I tested was the Moto X Pure Edition, the Nexus 6P obviously, and my iPhone 6. And out of all the three, the iPhone 6 comes in at the loudest. Now, I don't know if you've listened to earbuds or headphones on the iPhone 6 and can compare it to an HTC M8 or M9, because I don't have those to compare to, but the iPhone 6 came in the loudest, and I guess in a way it was also the clearest. The iPhone 6 was so loud that I had to put the volume down. On the Moto X and Nexus 6P, they sounded pretty comparable. If I had to say which one was louder, I would say that the Moto X was just a little bit louder. Now, these are, very unscientific ways of testing the headphone or earphone quality of these phones, or the DAC. I believe that's what it's called in these phones. But I mean, what I know for sure is the iPhone 6 was the loudest of the three. It did sound the clearest of the three as well. The Moto X sounded a little bit louder than the Nexus 6P, so but not by a lot. And you know what? If headphone quality or earbud quality, whatever, is your biggest, I guess, concern or factor in buying a phone, I would maybe at least try a Nexus 6P that maybe a friend of yours has, and compare it to the phones that you like with headphone quality, and go from there. Schumann wrote, have you noticed any color shifting with the screen? Even at seriously narrow viewing angles, I get crazy color shifting. Looking at it straight on, whites look reddish, tilted slightly left or right, whites look greenish or bluish. Color shifting is a common problem with AMOLED, but only at extreme wide viewing angles. Schumann, I know I answered your question previously on my YouTube video, but I want to expand a little further. I actually tested on both my Nexus 6P phones, and I never noticed it before until you mentioned it, but yeah, you know what? It really only happens in white backgrounds, but I noticed that if I tilt my phone, not left or right per se, but more up and down, if I look at it straight on, you're right, it's very reddish. And if I tilt it up or down a little bit, I can see a little blue or green tint. And at first, it didn't really bother me. It wasn't a big deal. But then when I started looking at my Gmail, because the Gmail has a white background on black text, and when I was like trying to read an email, and I would kind of shift my hand a little bit, it would go from red to green or blue, and it kind of drove me crazy. Yeah, you're right. There is a color shifting issue. Again, it's only with a white background. I don't know how tolerable it might be for other people, but for me, yeah, it was kind of crazy. I just wish that it wasn't so shifty with the colors. Edwin wrote, did you resolve the volume issues for Netflix, YouTube, and Hulu? Edwin, I haven't. My Moto X is distinctively louder when you play Netflix, YouTube, and Hulu than my Nexus 6P. I'm not saying that the Nexus 6P front-facing stereo speakers are bad by any means, but definitely the Moto X comes in louder and even clearer, I would say. I made a small clip, so I will play that, so take a listen. Hey guys, what's going on? Jerome here. To celebrate reaching 350 subscribers a few days ago, I am giving away 2 Android collectibles tonight. Hey guys, what's going on? Jerome here. To celebrate reaching 350 subscribers a few days ago, I am giving away 2 Android collectibles tonight. If you don't win, I wouldn't worry too much, because it looks like my 500 subscriber giveaway video is right around the corner. Don't win, I wouldn't worry too much, because it looks like my 500 subscriber giveaway video is right around the corner. In my past speaker comparison video, the Nexus 6P was definitely louder when playing Spotify, but again, when it comes to Netflix, YouTube, and Hulu, it was just noticeably quieter on the 6P than on the Moto X Pure Edition. Whether or not that is a software issue remains to be seen. Jonathan Lin asks, my display gets super bright in direct sunlight. Did you turn off adaptive brightness? Jonathan's referring to a past video where I said that my Nexus 6P doesn't do very well in direct sunlight compared to my Moto X. And so I ended up turning off adaptive brightness and turning up brightness all the way to 100%. And still, in outdoor lighting, like in direct sunlight, the screen is still not as bright as I would like it to be. In indoors and in outdoors, for the most part, in bright lighting, it's still really good. But as soon as direct sunlight hits it, the display is very hard to see. With my Moto X, I don't even really have to turn off adaptive brightness. I can just turn the slider all the way up. I can see the display fine. Now, it doesn't happen often, but it's kind of a bummer when I have to use my hand to cover up the phone just to get a little shade and see what the display is showing. Okay guys, despite some of the issues in this video on the 6P, this is still the best phone that you can buy for under $500. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you can see me praising the phone for its performance, for its battery, for its camera, its fingerprint sensor, so on and so forth. It's still a great phone, but it's very important to still talk about the pros and the cons of the phone. Anybody can say what's great about a phone, but sometimes it takes a little more in-depth to go and compare like audio quality, display quality with other phones. Again, there's no perfect phone. I mean, maybe one day there will be, but the Nexus 6P is still touching on things that it could be better on. With that said, the 6P is still my daily driver. I use it every single day. I use it for all my primary tasks. You know, I have a secondary phone, but my 6P is the first phone that I go to. As a consumer, you should be informed, and I'm really happy to do that for you guys. So anyway, with that said, happy Thanksgiving. You know, yesterday was my mom's birthday, so I just wanted to say happy birthday, Mom. I love you. She watches my videos, and I don't know if she'll actually get to the very end of that, but I just thought I would wish her a happy birthday. Anyway, I'm about to run off and grab some food. So again, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Take it easy. Until the next one. Later.